Hello, my name is Steve. This is another in the set of videos designed to assist customers who may encounter problems with the implementation and utilization of RACF PassTickets on their ZMF 8.1 Plus systems. This particular video focuses on PassTicket validation errors, specifically those related to the no replay protection parameter in the CERNET PassTicket data profile. For setup, configuration and PassTicket generation problems, please refer to the first video in this series. Indeed, that first video also discusses additional factors, such as testing techniques, that I do not intend to recover in this video. Therefore, it does make sense to watch that video as a prerequisite to this session. So, exactly what sort of problems are we talking about here? Let's start by looking at the current CERNET PassTicket data profile. So, this is my RACF Security Administrator session. So, if I go off and run this job, obviously all the jobs here all the commands being executed by this job can just be executed as standard TSO commands, but just for ease, I've set these up in a batch JCL. So let's go ahead and submit and run that. When we look at the output, you will see this very important application data parameter down here, which is called no replay protection. So this is key and must be specified on your CERNET PassTicket data profile. Let's take a look at the implications if we do not specify this. So let's go back to our edit session and let's delete and redefine that profile with no replay protection parameter. This is the job I've set up, so let's just talk through each command. The first command obviously deletes the existing CERNET profile in the PassTicket data class. The second command refreshes the contents of the PassTicket data class. The third command resets up the CERNET PassTicket data profile. And the fourth command again refreshes the class. So, as you can see, this currently has Apple data no replay protection specified. So let's keep a copy of that. So copy that to an unused DD statement. And let's just remove that from the definition. If we resubmit that, and let's go and take a look at the output just to confirm everything ran as we expected. So this is my latest job. So we can see the delete worked fine, the first refresh worked fine, the redefine of the CERNET profile within the PassTicket data class has run okay, and the subsequent refresh again has all gone fine. So we now have a CERNET profile in the PassTicket data class which does not have no replay protection specified. So let's go off and have a look at the implications of this. I've just switched to my user session and he has got a batch job set up and saved. So let's go in here. So let's quickly just talk through this contents of this batch job. There are actually 3 steps in it, all very similar, all list the component history for a specific component within a package, a couple of points to explain. This procedure just contains JCL required to execute a batch XML service request. A couple of keywords here that I will stress. We went through in the first video the implications or the usefulness of the test parameter when looking into problems with PassTickets. So we've specified the test T close test tag, and also on this particular test we're explicitly forcing the connection to go through a TCP/IP method. As explained in the first video, there are 2 connection methods, cross-memory services and TCP/IP. RACF PassTickets are only required for TCP/IP connections. So as you can see, there's 1 step there which lists component history for a program called SNCOBT of library type source in package demo 3544. And then you've got 2 identical requests for components named SNCOBU and SNCOBX within the same package. So let's go ahead and submit this job. and see what happens. So let's go back here. Obviously, when you go chasing it, it goes missing again. Okay, and there it is. Let's look at the individual job outputs. So as you can see here, 2 of the steps have worked fine, and 1 of the steps has failed with a return code 8. So if we look at the trace output from the first step, we can see there was a request for a TCP/IP connection, and that all worked fine. And as we work down, we can see the connection completed successfully. We scroll right there. So all looks good there, all looks healthy, and the relevant services have executed beneath the covers. And as you can see, the component history list was returned successfully. So when we go to the second step, which was one that failed, let's have another look. You can see again, it's a TCP/IP connection method. And let's scroll right again, so that it's clear, more clear. And here you can see there's actually a password failure on connection. Again, the XML services response shows that it was an invalid password was provided. And then on to the third trace output. Again, we can see TCP/IP connection method. And again, this connected fine without problems, and all the services ran okay. So how can this happen? How can a password be fine on the first step, invalid on the second step, and fine again on the third step? Let's also have a look at the ZMF server started task output to see what that shows in relation to this problem. So this is the active task that it was referring to. If we look at the JES message log and the serprint output files, if I scroll them down there, you will see a verification failed, invalid password given, issued there for the second service request. And if we look at the serprint, you will also see key signs that there was a password failure, or a PassTicket failure in this particular case, connecting to the ZMF started task. In relation to the started task failures, it's worth mentioning that if everything was set up so that a cross-memory services connection would have worked, then we would have flicked over to a cross-memory service connection. It's only because in this particular batch job we're forcing the TCP/IP connection method that didn't occur. In that situation, you can actually end up in a situation where you will see invalid password messages and password verification failure messages in your started task output, but no problems will be seen in the connecting batch job or TSO ISPF user, or generally the TCP/IP thread that's been attached to the started task. So that's worth bearing in mind if you're seeing invalid password messages or verification failure messages and getting no reports from users of problems or failures in their batch job or ISPF sessions, then that is something to bear in mind. So how do we go and fix this? Well, we re-implement the no replay protection parameter. So if I switch back to my RACF administrator session, and actually there's an session open there. So let's go down here and redefine our PassTicket data profile with the no replay protection parameter specified. So if I move our saved line there and delete the other entry and resubmit that job, and let's just list that profile as well, just to prove that the parameter is now back in place. You will now see that our PassTicket data profile for Cernet is active and that the application data contains no replay protection. So if we flip back to our user session and repeat that previous test, so let's just resubmit exactly the same job. Let's go look at the job output first. You will now see that returned that completed with return code 0 for all the steps. And if we just look at the XML out from each step, you will see each return code 0 for all 3 steps, and the XML outs are fine. Okay, so why does this happen? It's basically just down to an IBM restriction. The no replay protection parameter allows users to reuse a pass ticket that has been generated for a user within a 1 second period. If you do not specify no replay protection, then any pass ticket that is replayed or attempted to be reused within a 1 second period will fail verification and validation. And that's why RACF says no to the connection. And that is basically the importance of the no replay protection part. So I hope this helps. And if you have any further questions on this subject, then please open a case with customer support, who will be happy to assist. Thanks for listening.